Deadpool and a Wolverine. This just feels right.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie, and it looks like we finally know which Marvel character Henry Cavill is playing in the new movies, and it turns out it's for Deadpool and Wolverine, which is a bit of a surprise, so we'll break it all down. Because it's supposed to pay off a long-running fan theory about who he'd be playing from years ago, and Kevin Feige is using Henry Cavill's new Marvel character to acknowledge the fans the same way they cast John Krasinski as Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Having a big audience for you must be a cool thing. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Good for you. You made it, Chris.
We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed.
All to pay off a long-running fan theory from a long time ago. So can you imagine what's going to happen if Ben Affleck shows up as his version of Daredevil in the movie? Like Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck from the DC universe, the Justice League, now showing up in the Marvel universe together. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There's supposed to be a new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer coming pretty soon that'll give us a little bit more of the actual narrative during the movie. Like the first teaser just meant to give you vibes of what's happening in the movie. He talks about changing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like he's basically going to start soft rebooting the Marvel Universe for Kevin Feige. According to the actor who plays Dopinder, who's coming back in the movie, says that there's a bunch of Kevin Feige jokes calling him out in the movie several times too.
Thank you, Kevin Feige.
Love you, Kevin Feige. Thank you, MCU.
It is a really good time to be a Deadpool fan and an X-Men fan just in general, because we have all those X-Men 97 episodes coming next week too, which I will also do videos for. But I feel like by now, most people have seen at least some rumors the past couple of years about Henry Cavill joining the Marvel Universe as a new character. There was a lot of speculation about which character he would be playing. The most popular fan theories were Captain Britain. There was a newer theory about him playing Cyclops in the new MCU X-Men movie that's meant to be a reboot, with all the main characters being recast as new versions. Some people wanted him as the new Sentry in the Thunderbolts movie or Hyperion because they're kind of like Marvel's versions of Superman. Henry Cavill himself even started commenting on the rumors a couple years ago. But according to a couple new reports, he's going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine this year, which is a big surprise, as a Wolverine variant. It's not totally clear if his version of Wolverine is going to be based on any particular comic book version of the character, but he's supposed to be wearing a long brown coat in the movie, and there are only a couple of notable times that Wolverine has worn brown coats. There's the original Days of Future Past Wolverine in the comics, and then Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in the X-Men Days of Future Past movie. When they were back in the 1970s, he wore a brown leather jacket. And going back to the original X-Men 2000 movie, when they first introduced his version of the character, he's wearing that brown biker jacket in the movie. The reason why this is another John Krasinski Fantastic Four kind of reference, if you don't remember, right after Avengers Endgame came out several years ago now, that's how long it's been, doesn't everybody feel old now? Right after that movie, the Fox-Disney buyout deal finished officially, meaning Kevin Feige and Marvel could do anything they wanted with the X-Men characters again inside the MCU. And because at that time we were still fresh off the Logan movie, Hugh Jackman originally said that when that came out, he was done as Wolverine, like he's hanging up the claws forever because the Logan movie turned out so well, like go out on a high note. Patrick Stewart also said the same thing about his version of Professor X. Like at the time, 2017 to 2019, they literally said they were done. How much of a difference a couple years makes. Like Patrick Stewart comes back as another version of Professor X in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. It sounds like he's also coming back again after that. But of course, at the time, we didn't know that that was going to happen. So like at that time in 2019, they were like, we're done, we're not coming back. So of course, fans started speculating on who the new version of Wolverine would be in the upcoming Marvel movies. And Henry Cavill was just one of the biggest, earliest theories at the time. I think I even did a video about that. So now Kevin Feige's cast Henry Cavill to pay off that long-running fan theory, same as they did with John Krasinski. At the time, none of us had any idea of how Marvel Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6 would totally play out. I think we had a broad idea of which direction they were headed because we knew that they would want to do X-Men movies again eventually.
Why the holidays?
Thought it'd be fun.
Why PG-13?
It's a family movie, also money, also Disney.
We all assumed that they would eventually do Deadpool 3 at some point. We were just hoping that it would be rated R. Deadpool would come into the MCU in some way. And the only other really big common fan theory at the time was that they should do a version of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe because now they could do it because he was coming to the MCU. Cut to now, in the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that we've gotten already, he's loosely referencing Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe during that footage when he talks about changing the quote-unquote cinematic universe, the MCU essentially.
Your little cinematic universe is about to change forever.
So if you thought that Henry Cavill would become a version of Wolverine a couple years ago and they'd do Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, everybody pat yourself on the back because you were right. The only downside to this, like the other shoe dropping, people are like, wait a minute, if he's only going to be doing a variant of Wolverine, what does that mean? There's supposed to be multiple versions of Wolverine and multiple versions of Deadpool in the movie because there's a bunch of variants. We're talking about the TVA here. The only downside I can see to this right now is that it's probably going to be a one-off cameo scene. Like Henry Cavill is not meant to replace Hugh Jackman's Wolverine as the new main version of the character. I think this version of Hugh Jackman in the yellow costume is supposed to be the new main version in the MCU through Avengers Secret Wars. Then after they fix the multiverse at the end of that movie, they do their soft reboot of the MCU movies just in general. They start Marvel Phase 7 movies. Hugh Jackman's version supposed to go back to his original universe, and eventually several years later, they'll cast a new MCU version of Wolverine with a totally new actor. But not till well after Secret Wars, so we're talking like 7-8 years down the line, a long time. I guess Henry Cavill's version of Wolverine could always come back and cameo during Secret Wars if Deadpool and Wolverine goes well, and it sounds like it does. Like Marvel seems very, very confident that it's going to be one of their new billion-dollar movies. We'll see if it makes it past $1 billion. I haven't heard any rumors about them giving him a crazy death scene during the movie, so I don't know if they plan to give him the same treatment that they did with John Krasinski's Reed Richards, like unceremoniously having Scarlet Witch kill him during the movie. Please do not do that to Henry Cavill. It wasn't really funny the first time that they did it. And like I said, it would be crazy if Ben Affleck's Daredevil does wind up in the movie in some way. Like you put them together and it's just another Justice League reunion in the MCU. But I don't think that Ben Affleck's Daredevil is supposed to be in the movie unless they change that in reshoots. They did confirm that Jennifer Garner's version of Elektra from that Ben Affleck Daredevil movie is going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, but I think it's just her. The other Deadpool and Wolverine variants that we've learned about so far, just starting with the Wolverine variants, and there are only going to be a couple of those, is Patch Wolverine, which we saw in the trailer. He's actually meant to be played by Daniel Radcliffe, also paying off the Daniel Radcliffe Wolverine fan theories from the recent years. If you didn't see, there have been rumors the past couple of years that he would become the new MCU Wolverine, and Daniel Radcliffe himself kept denying them, like, no, I have no interest in being in comic book movies, even though I love the idea that fans think I could be a good version of Wolverine. So doing Daniel Radcliffe as a version of Wolverine is just the same vibe as doing Henry Cavill as a Wolverine. The version of Patch Wolverine that we see in the trailer is based on the original main version of Wolverine in the comics during the 1980s when he was living undercover in Madripoor going by the alias Patch, wearing an outfit that looked like this, like the white jacket with the patch. They did a more recent run where they brought that character back, but essentially it's the main version of Wolverine just being undercover in Madripoor. They already had some references to this version of Wolverine in the MCU during Falcon and Winter Soldier. During Episode 3, when they traveled to Madripoor, they passed by the Princess Bar. That's the place where Patch Wolverine hung out during that run in the comics. I think the idea with the Daniel Radcliffe Wolverine here is that Deadpool looks like he's meeting him in the casino while he's on a mission for the TVA, just going through different universes, and this just happens to be one of them. It seems like part of the idea in the movie is that Matthew McFadden's TVA Hunter character recruits Deadpool as a variant to become a new TVA agent the same way that Mobius did with the variant version of Loki after Avengers Endgame. Like they give them two options because they've created so many Nexus events, like they're now variants. They can be pruned and sent to the void, or they could become TVA agents themselves. Loki chose to become a TVA agent. It sounds like Deadpool also, quote-unquote, accepts the mission. And if it wasn't clear, all TVA agents are meant to be variants. And while that's happening, it seems like Deadpool just goes on a bunch of missions until eventually he does something that gets him pruned and sent to the void anyway, or the TVA purposefully sends him to the void to deal with Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova villain and her band of evil X-Men variants that she's turned into a team. And it seems like that's where he runs into the yellow costume variant of Wolverine played by Hugh Jackman, crashing through that 20th Century Fox logo, like joking on them, recasting all the characters and rendering all the Fox X-Men characters irrelevant. The other Deadpool variants that we've learned about so far are Dogpool, this long hair version of Deadpool with the shiny hardcore looking armor. He might be Samurai Pool, or he might just be like Man Bun Deadpool. Wolverine Pool, that'll be crazy, a Deadpool variant with adamantium Wolverine claws. Lady Deadpool, who's also in the trailer, this is meant to be her hands holding the Uzis. Notice her gloves are different from Deadpool's gloves. There's supposed to be a Deadpool Pulp. He's a more tuned down version of the character from another universe in the comics with a much grittier real world backstory with less technology, like way more lo-fi. And apparently Kid Pool is also supposed to appear in the movie in some way. I don't think it's going to be Walker Scobell. There was speculation about that because he recited the entire opening monologue from Deadpool 2, and Ryan Reynolds was just totally impressed by him. And they did a movie together with Sean Levy, who was also the director of Deadpool 3. And because we have all those Secret Wars references during the trailer, Sean Levy is also in line to direct Avengers Secret Wars right now, just based on the strength of Deadpool and Wolverine. Apparently, Marvel is so happy with the way the movie turned out, like it just looked so good and it went so smoothly, that he's now at the top of their shortlist to direct Secret Wars. Personally, I don't have any big preferences about who winds up directing it as long as it winds up being somebody with a really strong vision who can actually pull this off. And there are only a couple directors that are capable of doing that. One of the reasons why the Russo brothers were able to do Infinity War and Avengers Endgame back-to-back is because there is also two of them. Like, they're solid directors, but there's also two of them, so it's half the work. Plus, it's also no coincidence that they're literally referencing Secret Wars with that comic book from real life, like the real-life Marvel comic book with Doctor Doom on the cover. I believe it's Secret Wars number 5. With the Hulk soda, if the movie wasn't going to be referencing Secret Wars at the end of the movie in some bigger way, or like lead into Secret Wars. My early theory right now, just beyond post-credit scenes, because there will probably be some kind of Secret Wars post-credit scene. Supposedly in early versions of the movie, the Void Planet from the Loki series, which we see in the trailer pretty prominently, is meant to eventually become the battle world from Secret Wars in the movie version of that. As far as we know, the current version of Secret Wars that they're supposed to be doing in the movies is kind of an amalgam version of the original 1980 Secret Wars with the Beyonder and the more modern version of Secret Wars with God Emperor Doom. I do not think they would have used Doctor Doom on the cover of that particular Secret Wars Easter egg if they didn't plan on including him in the movie version of Secret Wars in some way. But because Secret Wars isn't that far off, like it's still a couple years away, but it's not that far off, they only have so much time to start developing Doctor Doom's character. Like, you can't just show up in Secret Wars and introduce him for the first time in that movie. We know he's supposed to be featured at the end of the brand new Fantastic Four movie with Pedro Pascal and all the other new actors, but he's not meant to be the main villain of that movie, so not really clear how the movie will wind up referencing him, just that he will appear in some way during it. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below. What do you think about Henry Cavill playing a version of Wolverine? What do you think about them doing Doctor Doom in the MCU? Like, where do you want to see that character show up? Whenever Marvel winds up releasing, of course I will do videos. We'll probably get that new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer in the next couple of weeks at some point. And a real big reminder that all my X-Men episodes will start posting next week after they start releasing them, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Everybody click here for all those X-Men episodes. I'll update the link as soon as I post that, and click here for all my other Deadpool and Wolverine videos. Thank you so much for watching, and maximum effort.